Hey parents, I wanted to make a video to demonstrate our newest strategy, and this strategy is for subtraction. So it is just like our first strategy, which is the split strategy, but this time we're doing it with subtraction. So it's almost the exact same thing, you're just changing the operation. So let's take 536 minus 257. Alright, so you would take your problem here and then you are going to expand it. So then what you would do is you would take the first number and you're going to break it apart into expanded form. And see, I did that for both of them. So here is the first number and here is the second number. And so then what I'm going to do, because subtraction is my operation, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to subtract each place. So these are broken up by place value, and the reason for that is that this makes it a little bit easier to regroup, and so I wanted students to be able to have this strategy. Okay, so when it comes time to regrouping, that's a really hard skill, and so if we start here at our ones, and we took an oath today to always start at our ones place when we're subtracting, because a lot of times they'll want to go to the hundreds because the hundreds is the easiest part to go to most of the times, but we got to start at the ones or else it messes up everything else. So always start at the ones place. And so we don't have enough ones to take away, we don't have enough sixes, ones, to take away from 7. So what I have to do is I have to go next door and I have to borrow a whole 10. So we've talked about how a tens rod like this, when we borrow it and we put it into the ones place, it breaks up into ones. And so we have really used these a lot. These will come in your math kits that will be going home pretty soon. So they understand the concept of how this is a 10 and it can break into 10 ones. And so that's what we're trying to do here with this strategy. So if I take 10 away, that means that there's only going to be 20 left over because I took 10 away from it. And so that means I'm adding 10 more to 6, which means I'm going to have 16. And so then you would subtract. A lot of times I see that our kiddos are struggling with just basic subtraction, just like this, and so a strategy that we use is counting on. So I say put the smallest number in your head, and we actually touch our head to do this. They could do their chin if they want to, or their forehead. And so I will say, okay, put 7 in your head, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So then I counted up, you can see, I counted up 9, and so then they would put 9. Okay, so then here I come into my tens place, and again, I don't have 50 tens to take away. So what I have to do is I have to borrow a 100, and so they understand that this represents 10 tens, so it's 100. Okay, so I'm going to take my 100 away, so then I would have 400 left over, and then what I do is I add it to my 20, so I'll have 120. Okay, and this is so different than the way that we have been taught in the past, and this is a better way to visually see, okay, it's not just 12, it's 12 tens, it's 120. They have to be able to understand that concept so that they have a really good number sense. So then you would take your ones, that's 0, and then 12 minus 5. They could do the counting up strategy again, so I'll model it one more time. So that would be 6, put 5 in your head, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I counted up 6 more. No, I'm sorry, 7, that's 7, woo. Okay, so then I have 70, and then I subtract my hundreds. Now, this isn't the answer, and what I tell them to do is put it back into standard form, and so that equals 279. Okay, and so again, this is just a strategy. This is something that I want your kids to have in their back pocket to review and be able to check their work come time for testing. And so this is a great skill to practice. It's totally okay if they can just subtract it normally, but I want them to be able to understand the concept of there is 120 in the tens place, but really it's 12 tens. And being able to understand what that looks like if you break this number apart is what's key to their success in number sense and addition and subtraction. So if you have any questions, let me know. Our quiz on this will be on Friday, so let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.